Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for coming back. Today, we're going to discuss season 1, episode 2 of Sister Wives. Today, I think I'm going to be Dottie Twinkle Toes. My puppy over here is going to be Duchess Lick-a-Lot. All right. This episode aired October 3rd, 2010. And the episode description says Kody heads south to court his potential fourth wife, Robyn. Meanwhile, back at home, the wives express their true feelings about their new possible sister wife as they make preparations for Christine's new baby. Welcome to the podcast, Sister Wives, a red flag rewatch. This is the podcast for disenchanted fans of Sister Wives. Fans who fell in love with the Brown family, watched their precious kids grow up, and became enchanted with all the love, only to be told it was all a lie. Nothing was as it seemed. We were bamboozled, fooled, duped, tricked, conned, swindled, hoodwinked. What did we miss? Where did it go wrong? Come help me find out as we watch from the beginning. It starts out with Christine and the wives going shopping for this new baby. It shows them in the car together. Christine says she's looking for things like onesies. She says, I definitely need onesies because she doesn't have a lot of those. And right away, it just strikes me as odd. They live on this street that's known to be a polygamous street with kids everywhere. They've got 12 kids existing. And you're telling me that there is not baby stuff galore to hand down or be given. Why are they out spending money on onesies and ballet slippers for little girls when there's probably a ton of stuff everywhere all around them? It's a polygamous family. They probably have baby stuff out the wazoo. But here they are. TLC's got them out there shopping for Truly. So it shows them just going around looking at stuff, laughing and talking, which it is fun to shop with other girls and look at stuff. Then it goes to them sitting on the couch, and Kody's talking about Christine and says, we've been married now for 16 years. And Meri says it is significantly different than the first 5, 6, 7 years. There was a huge learning curve, learning how to deal with each other. Then she looks at Christine, and Christine said, why'd you look at me when you said that? And they joke around like this a lot. But Dr. Adam from Sister Wives Professor, if you've ever listened to him, he is wonderful. He says that this family has a lot of passive-aggressive banter, little jokes that speak little truths. So they're kind of on dangerous territory whenever they joke around with each other because there's a little bit of truth to those jokes, and it could really easily go in from joking mode to hurting somebody's feelings. But you see this a lot when the camera's running. Then Kody says, so I've been married to Meri for almost 20 years. We have one child, and I've been married to Janelle for 17 years, and we have 6 children. And to been married to Christine for 16 years, and we've got 5 more with one on the way. And notes to self, Melanie, the one I was telling you about, she's the prophet's daughter, so she's got a lot of insight. She knew this family, and she said that this was one of the best balanced families that she had ever seen before Robyn. They were doing really well with balancing their time and effort, and things changed. She said she did notice a difference after Robyn came along. Christine says, I'm pregnant again. This is my 6th baby. We know she's a girl, and her name is going to be Truly. Truly is not the only new thing in our family, though. Right now, Kody's courting Robyn. So it's pretty exciting time for us. Everything is kind of new. So she's struggling a little bit to be positive about the whole situation. I gotta wonder if she means any of that. Christine said, Meri's always been open to more wives. There were times when she would talk about Kody should probably get married again. And I'm like, no, he's not spending enough time with me. Are you kidding me? I don't see him having another wife. You're insane. But Christine is being honest here. She says, are you kidding me? I don't see him having another wife. You're insane. So she is very, very truthful. So I want to point this out. In the very last episode of season 19 that we watched in the tell-all, Meri says, and it was kind of like gaslighting, trite behavior. She says, I don't know where y'all got this idea that I introduced Robyn to Kody, because I didn't do it. And that's just internet lore. She's gaslighting us and making us think, well, where did we get that idea? Did we come up with that on our own? And I'm about to read to you Exhibit A. She said on the show The transcript right here, right here. She says, so Kody and I, we went over to a friend's house, and Robyn happens to be this friend's cousin. They're talking about Reba. Robyn and I kind of clicked that night, and then later I told Kody to go ask her to dance, and so he did, and that was all she wrote. She's saying right here that she met Robyn, and then she told Kody to go dance with her, like Kody had nothing to do with it. But Kody had already met her in church where they had the lightning bolts to the loins, couldn't stop staring at each other, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, she's over at Reba's house. And we're going to go to a party over there. And Meri's like, yeah, I told him to go dance with her. I just met her. It makes me think that Kody and Robyn had a thing going for a while, and they just manipulated Meri into thinking that she had anything to do with it. I've said that before, and I'll keep saying it. Robyn says, I'm a single divorced mother of 3. My oldest, who's 9, Dayton. He's an awesome kid. My second oldest is Aurora. She's 7 years old. And I've got Brianna, who's my little princess. She's 5 years old. I've been spending the last few years trying to create a safe environment for them. There's that safe word. And I'm working to support them and take care of them. And we have a blast together. The 4 of us are the 4 musketeers. So it's great. It's awesome. And then it cuts over to Gabe and Savannah. I just love Savannah. I know I've told y'all that, but the kid is just stinking cute. I just love her. Kody says, Robyn and I have been courting for a couple of months. It's been challenging because she's so far away, and he's got Gabe and Savannah helping him pack, and Gabe is folding the clothes. He says, it's been a long time since I've courted. This is really the first courtship that we've had in 16 years. We had considered a couple people since then. And in the book, it talks about that they had gotten awfully close to having a 4th wife with a young girl. But Christine did say in the book that they were waiting for her to turn 18 years old. So that's not a good look. So she was 17 and they were waiting for her to get older before they courted her. So then he goes over to Meri and he's telling her bye. Everything's all packed. And Meri's eyes are red. She is crying. She is not up for this at all. And he's going around and he's hugging these women. And these women are just miserable. Just look in their eyes and see they're just miserable. They don't agree with this at all. And he says, so I'm leaving Meri, I'm leaving Christine, and I'm leaving Janelle to go down and see Robyn, and that leaves them kind of feeling a little bit sad, hurt, or raw. Christine says she lives far. She lives like 5 hours away. And I'm like, you really can't go. You can't leave me, and you can't leave your family. You are replacing your family with Robyn and her kids. It was hard. And the same point, I realized is what needed to happen, but it didn't necessarily make it easier. And Kody says, initially, everybody struggles. I've done this before, and everybody struggles because they're afraid. And the way he says this acts like that they do it all the time. I've done this before. It was 16 years ago, the last time he married and brought somebody in. And he's acting like they should just get over it because it happens all the time. No. The last time it happened was 16 years ago. This is all brand new. He's being dismissive by saying it's inevitable and they signed up for this. Kody says, so usually I will take some of the kids down to see Robyn with me. That way I'm getting her children and my children climatized to each other. And this time I'm taking Madison and Aspen. They're actually going to babysit a little bit because Robyn and I want to go out. It is not so the children can get climatized to each other. No, Robyn needs a babysitter so they can go out and do whatever in his fancy car. They need somebody to watch the kids. So they got the 2 most responsible girls to come babysit, Madison and Aspen. So not only is he leaving the house, he's taking these older children who probably have some parental chores too away from the house. So he's dragging himself and the older kids away, which is not helpful, I'm sure. And did they want to go or were they told they had to go? Then they shoved these poor kids into this tiny little sports car. They do rock, paper, scissors to see who sits in the back because the back seat is miserable. You have to sit with your knees to your chest. And poor Maddie gets put in the back because she lost. Kody says, I like taking my kids because while we're traveling, it's good quality time with them. It's also a good time for my teenagers to get to know Robyn. That'll be important. In my lifestyle, my wives are very comfortable with me having another wife. They're not comfortable with the girlfriend. And this is one thing that all of us have asked about. where is Kody sleeping? You know they don't have the finances for him to go sleep in a hotel. And you know that from later episodes where he says that he is not going to sleep on no couch when Robyn says to go sleep on Christine's couch. He's like, no, I ain't sleeping on no couch. So you know he's not sleeping on Robyn's couch. So where is he sleeping? What are the sleeping arrangements? This is not a big rental home that she's in. It's not like he has his own room. Melanie on Notes to Self said, this the whole situation is inappropriate in the polygamous community. This would not be considered proper courting rituals. The way they're doing this, the way that he's going over there and where is he staying and he's being unsupervised with this woman. Then he says, Kody says, in words right here, it's a transcript. I got it right here. He says, so Meri introduces Robyn and I. One more time. So Meri introduces Robyn and I. Essentially, Meri and her literally develop a bond. There was a spiritual drive that said to her, this is something that's going to be part of your life. Robyn says, Aspen and Madison are coming. She's talking to her kids in the van, and they're going to watch you guys. So, but first she's going to take them to the park, and then later Kody and her are going to go on a date. And Christine said, here is this girl who's choosing to come into a family with 16 people with 3 wives. And this is something else that I wanted to talk about. You know, later when Kody has the whole knife in the kidney scene, which was epic, I can't wait to get to that one. He says that Robyn came to them cap in hand, insinuating that she was begging for help. And then they keep saying these first couple of episodes that here is somebody that had all these options. She could have gone anywhere. So is that really cap in hand? If she had all these options and she could have gone anywhere? Notes to Self said that Robyn in the polygamy culture was highly sought after. She says that people would knock on Robyn's door, literally, the husband with his wives, to court her, to talk to her. So she had options. And she says in that culture, when women of breedable age, I said it, breedable, so she literally is like a sacred cow, men are always on the prowl. Melanie says that they would have these bonfires and with families around them. Women who were eligible would go from fire to fire to fire at these parties and talk to these families, basically like a speed dating. So what is going on up there in that polygamy church with all these lightning bolts and men on the prowl and Kody not wanting Robyn to go to church by herself? This whole culture of going to church, it's just like one big old dating scene, like who's available, who's breedable. I mean, it's just kind of gross when you start thinking about it and their mentality. Like he didn't want his daughters going to church, and he didn't want Robyn going to church without a wedding ring on her finger and him going with her. So that church, that shows you right there how the polygamy church was, what the mentality was with the men there. It was just a big old dating scene. It was like Tinder. So then it shows Robyn's kids. She's trying to get them in the van to go to the park, and they want to bring their bikes. I don't understand why they couldn't bring their bikes. The park that she was at, you could see a little bike trail. I think maybe she just didn't want them riding around while she was talking to the cameras. They go to the park. Brianna is like doing the monkey bars. Robyn is underneath her, like going to catch her if she falls. You could see her like watching them go down the slide, like right there by the slide. Her parenting style as far as the kids playing, like she doesn't let them go and do things. In later episodes, remember when they were climbing on that big mountain rock and she was saying, get down, sit down. And everybody was laughing at her because she was being so protective. But you can see it here too, like Brianna's trying to do the monkey bars and Robyn's underneath her. That's just the way she parents. So she brought these kids into the Brown family, which is like Lord of the Flies. They are beating each other up, like literally making each other's nose bleed, and they're talking to each other, and the moms are like, don't come to me. You need to figure it out yourself. And then Robyn comes in with her kids. I mean, you could not ask for something more different. These parenting styles are total opposites, but it is kind of bugging me that she doesn't let them ride their bikes or let them go on the monkey bars or just without being right there. And then Brianna runs off and she's being a little brat. You know, she's like, no, and she's stomping her foot and she's not coming. And Robyn acts like she's going to chase her. Brianna loves that. She smiles and runs to the edge of the sidewalk. I didn't put up with much of that when my kids were that age. I didn't have much patience for that. And it wasn't like I beat my kids up, but I had a voice that would get them to do what I needed them to do. Because if you tell a kid to come here, they need to come here. It just kind of bugged me that Brianna's like running away after Robyn said, come here. And then she says, wow, monster children. Right here, she probably thinks that maybe her kids are going to be parented the way that she wants them to be parented, that maybe they'll be extra nice to her kids. It turns out, no. If you're going to join the Brown family, it's a trial by fire. You just throw them kids in there and let them fend for themselves. I think she realized later when the kids got together more often that that's not what happened. That's why she doesn't want anybody watching her kids except for her family, because of the way she parents. Meri says, this is the lifestyle that we've chosen. The more the merrier. Christine says, so we are rearranging furniture. This is my sixth baby. Her name is Truly. Truly has to go in my room because there's really honestly no other place to put her. And then it shows they've got this huge armoire that they're moving from one side of the bed to the other. And when I say they, I don't mean they, I mean Meri by herself. You can see her pushing and pulling on this thing, and the women are just sitting around talking. Janelle is standing over in the doorway. Leon is standing by Meri, just watching Meri just walk this thing to the other side of the room because it's so heavy, and she is pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling. They get it to one side of the room, and Christine's like, oh, I like that. Then she's like, you know what? I think I like it over there. If I was Meri, I would have just walked right out. But poor thing, you can just see her struggling and nobody cares. And then Christine says, I need to eat right now. Let's go shopping and eat. I want some food. Then it goes over to Kody. He says, we all know that this isn't all rainbows and flowers when they're going through this process of seeing me fall in love with somebody else. Robyn says, where I don't want to hurt anybody and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And then she says, it's a little bit difficult for me. And Dr. Adams says, the way she said that tells you something about her. She says, well, I don't want to hurt anybody and I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Then she says, it's difficult for me. Is she truly worried about them, or is she making herself a victim by saying it's difficult for her? So the point she's getting across is not a very good one. And she does this with a lot of her speech. He says that she doesn't really apologize or take accountability for anything. She just turns it back around on how it's affecting her. Kody says, you got Robyn going, I'm not going to hurt them. And I'm like, I'm sorry, there's no way around that. Anyway, it shows the wives at a bakery type place, and it's called Flower Girls and Doughboys. That's a cute name. And the food in there looked really good. Christine says, yeah, I'm sorry, she's really cute and Robyn is really pretty, but honestly, if I was going to be jealous about anything, it's just the fact that she's so sweet and such a good companion, and I feel like that I'm being replaced based on the companion side of it. I'm glad he's getting a trophy wife. And I could see the companion side. I think one of the good things about Kody and Christine's relationship was that she was always positive, and she kind of was friends with Kody and they would play around together. That's something that she liked about their relationships. The thing was that with Janelle and Meri, they didn't really have a playful relationship with Kody. Kody only really had that playful friend relationship with Christine. And so now that one thing that they have is being threatened by Robyn. She says, I'm glad he's getting a trophy wife. You know, he's a great guy. He deserves a cute girl. Melanie says that trophy wife is a snarky term in polygamous language. Robyn says it was kind of interesting when I told the kids about courting Kody. Dayton was kind of undecided about how he felt. Aurora was excited and happy and wanting to plan with me, and Brianna was shy but happy about it as well. The kids ask which mom is coming. So apparently Kody had been bringing the other wives down to meet her as well, but I wonder how often that happened, because Christine goes later into how she hasn't met her for the longest time. And Kody says, you know, this is something that we did choose, but because of emotions and outside influences in our culture, sometimes we struggle with it. And Dr. Adams says this is telling about him too, because he is not making apologies to his wives about what he's putting them through. No apologies. He's not really being a caretaker. He's not being empathetic. He's saying this is something we chose and we're just going to struggle with it and they just need to deal. It's just not very empathetic. Christine says, I really felt out of the loop the whole thing. I hadn't met Robyn at all for 3 or 4 weeks after Meri and Kody did. And so the whole Robyn coming along was making me mad because I hadn't met her. I think one of the reasons that she hadn't met her is because she's the one that's responsible for watching the kids. So she couldn't really drive down there with Kody because who was going to watch all them kids? And this is very important. If Christine had not met her for 3 to 4 weeks after they started courting, that means that Robyn has not been coming to their house, has not been coming to see Reba. How come she was before all this, but now all of a sudden she's not? And I'll tell you why. It's because she got Kody on her radar. She is on his radar, and now he's just going to go see her. She's not going to come up there. Wouldn't it have been more practical for Robyn to come up there and stay with Reba and come over and eat dinner with them and let their kids play together in their house? I mean, why is she dragging Kody 5 hours away? None of that makes sense to me. Why did it take a month for Christine to meet her when Robyn in the past has been driving up there? Why didn't Robyn keep driving up there? I bet you they would have got some gas money for Robyn to keep driving up there. But they weren't going to do that because if Kody drives down there, they can't keep an eye on where he's going, where he's sleeping, what's happening in their car. The fact that they're alone, he's staying for 2-3 days and having a good old time. It just doesn't make sense to me. If she is willing to drive up there to see her cousin, why didn't she keep driving? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. The math ain't mathing. Anyway, where was I at? Christine's talking about I really felt out of the loop because she hadn't met her yet. And then she says he gets a testimony that she is definitely someone that he wants in the family. Meri, same thing. Testimony, hook, line, and sinker. She's done. And I'm thinking and I'm panicking because I haven't met her. I don't know what she's like. Never ever seen her before. And I thought it was horrible. I totally feel like I lost my friend. And she's still crying about this. And this is one thing about that religion that I do not like. And it's a little bit in all religions. When somebody says, I got a testimony or God told me, and they say that, and it's almost like they get a free pass. They can do whatever they want to do because God told them it was okay. So if you're brought up in a religion where somebody gets a testimony, you saying, no, that's stupid, what's that make you look like? It looks like you're going against God. It is so ridiculous to me. I am from the South, the deep Bible Baptist fire burning South, and a lot of guilt. And if somebody says, God told me, you're supposed to believe them, especially if it's a preacher man. You believe them. And when my kids were, story time, when my kids were little, I was a part of this Mothers of Preschoolers group where it was wonderful. It was a good socializing thing, but it was religious. It had some religious aspects in it. And this woman got up there. They were talking about testimonies and God in their lives. And she gets up there and she starts talking about they're going to move. And everybody's sad because we have all these friends with these young children. They're all sad that she's moving. She says that God told them to move here. And so they did. And then she says, God changed his mind, and now he's telling us to move up north. Does God change his mind? I mean, I don't think so. I just feel like when people say that, it's like just free reign to say whatever they want to say and us to take it as gospel because they said God spoke to them. And the truth of the matter was her husband worked for the government. It wasn't God that was telling them to move. It's the government. The government was telling them to move. They just got rehomed to another section where he was needed. It wasn't God. But anyway, that's just a little thing that bugs me. So every time in a religion when they say that he got a testimony or God told him, I don't like that because I feel like that's just a get out of jail free card. Anyway, Kody says, so I'm going down to see Robyn. It's a long drive, 300 miles, 5 hours. It's been 16 years since I courted someone, and so it's a very unique experience. It's very different this time around. When Robyn and I were new in the relationship, my heart, I was going through difficult times. And I'm going to stop right here because Kody gets tears in his eyes and he starts crying when he talks about how much he loves Robyn. And he's crying sitting right next to Christine, who is 36 weeks. She's crying because he's leaving. This man has no empathy. Why are you crying over Robyn? when you have a wife right here that you've been married to for 16 years who is upset because you are leaving her to go to Robyn's house 2 days a week, and you're just going to just stick her face right in it by crying over this woman. And he says, I'm in Christine's room sobbing. I was sobbing. I didn't know what was wrong. I'm looking at her. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm like, my heart is breaking in a million pieces over all this. And Christine's like, well, you're lovesick, and the only cure is a marriage. I bet he loved that. I bet that's all he wanted to hear was just permission to marry Robyn because he's in there crying in front of Christine. And poor Christine, that man has never cried over Christine. And here she is having to watch it right in her face. I feel so bad for her. It shows Robyn in the bathroom again. She says, Kody's my soulmate. And we have talked about how in polygamy, they say this is not appropriate. You shouldn't be saying that. Just because of the whole aspect of heaven and them all going to heaven together. And if there's one wife who's a soulmate and the other wife's not, what does that mean? So she shouldn't be saying that. She says, I love him. And then she, first cry of the season, she starts to cry. And she's crying because Kody and girls are taking care of her kids. And so it seriously does my heart so much good to see these kids be embraced by family, be embraced by Kody. And she goes, I'm sorry, I'm crying. Cry number 1, it's in the books, people. Robyn starts going into it. I have a list of things I wrote 2 years ago that I wanted in a potential mate. And she says, Kody is him. And what was on this list? I would like to see this list. Is it money? Is it other wives' money? Other wives who love him? And so she can take over and give her a sense of power. When the Kody likes her best, it really does something for her. She likes that. Also on the list is I don't want to work. I also need money for a nanny and a house with 7 bedrooms. What was on this list? I would like to see this list. He says, I've never really held hands with a woman that wasn't my wife in the last 16 years. I'm rusty. To Robyn, he said, I thought I would get you a ring. She says, you want to do that? He presents this little string ring that Madison had made. Robyn said, where'd you get that? Kody said, my daughter made it. Yeah, Madison was making them. And I said, I need that. And I got it. Robyn says, seriously, awesome. And Kody says, nobody in the family would ever call me romantic. I just got overcome by this romantic bug. No self-respecting men would admit this stuff. I was thinking, Madison made these string rings. It's different color strings, and they're fun. I remember making bracelets and stuff when I was Madison's age. He got one for Robyn. It would have been so easy for Madison to make 3 more rings. Can you imagine at this moment, while Christine was sitting on that couch crying because she felt abandoned, if he had just given her a string ring, looked her in the eyes and said, I love you, how much that would have helped? And give one to Meri, too, while she's crying. And Janelle is not much of a crier, but, you know, it would have been cute. I don't know that she would appreciate it as much as the other women. Who gives one wife something in a polygamy marriage and doesn't think about the other wives? It's like a parent who has kids. You get one kid a present, and you're going to bring home a present for this one kid, and you have another child. It's always in the back of your head, I really need to get something for my other child because that's not really nice to bring home something for one kid and not the other kid. But he doesn't think like that. So he's given Robyn this string ring, but it never occurs to him that he could do that for Christine and he could do that for Meri and he could do that for Janelle. And that could probably help this situation along in the way that they're feeling right now. Doesn't cross his mind. Never crossed his mind. Janelle says, we've been here before. We know what the outcome will be. We have a fabulous relationship. We know that when we get through this, we'll end up with an even bigger, cooler family going on. And also, I think that this is wishful thinking on her part, too, that if Robyn comes in, that maybe, like Hunter says, that she'll be more help and stuff. And I think Janelle's motivation behind what she just said is she really is hoping that Robyn will bring in more help and stuff, like help watch the kids, maybe a little extra income. And so she's hoping, because she really is the true primary source of consistent income right now. And I think when she says stuff like this, she's truly hoping that Robyn will help with this, which she doesn't. We all know she doesn't. She makes it worse. Kody says, I'm in love with Robyn. That doesn't diminish any of my other wives at all. I'm in love with them, and Robyn gets to pick who she marries, and she picks me and tells her thanks. And again, I thought she had her cap in hand begging, but no, that's not what's going on here. She gets to marry whoever she wants to marry, and she picked us. And that's the end of that episode. Now we've come to the portion of the podcast where we come up with questions that we would ask them in a tell-all. Questions that they have to answer, sit them down. They have to answer or they don't get paid. So my question would be for Janelle in the frame of mind that she's in right now in this day and age. There was a period of time where she stayed in Wyoming while everybody else was in Utah and they lived in that house. She stayed for a full year in Wyoming, and Kody called her and asked her to come back, and she agreed. My question for her is, did she come back for Kody or did she come back for Christine? I think she came back because she wanted that polygamy lifestyle. She wanted Christine to help watch her kids. She wanted her kids to grow up with their brothers and sisters. Think she liked that lifestyle. I don't think it was necessarily for Kody. That's it for today. If you like my podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to reach me, you can always reach me at redflagrewatch@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time. Why don't skeletons fight? They don't have the guts, but I'll see myself out. Thank you for watching.